Our first speaker will be Robert Nichols. Please come forward to the microphone, Robert Nichols.
I'm Robert Nichols. I'm a Steuben County legislator from Steuben County. I'm also supervisor of the town of Tuscarora. My first concern is that DEC have enough inspectors to make sure when the drilling starts, that if it starts, that the casing and the cement and be put in the ground properly, drilled properly, and that so we can all drink our water when this is done. We also are concerned with making sure that the roads, the infrastructure is maintained by the gas companies. If they destroy them, that they fix them. The other thing is fracking water. We want to make sure that it's properly taken care of so it doesn't damage the environment and that it goes through not a sewer plant, but a proper plant. Steuben County is like all the rest of the counties around here. We're hurting for jobs. We need this type of activity to create jobs and get people to work. We need revenue. The counties and the towns are fighting to keep the taxes down. We need the jobs to create the revenue, to create the environment that we need to make the Empire State an Empire State again with employment. It'll create jobs for our farms. I'm also a dairy farmer, and the farms need revenue to keep their family farms together. This could be, as long as DEC does the proper regulations, I feel this could be a real plus for our community. And I have faith in DEC that you folks will do the right thing if you have the manpower to protect our resources. So if it comes to the point where you don't have the manpower, let the public know so we can get after our state representatives to fund the inspectors for DEC to operate properly. We need drilling. It's a good way to create jobs. It's an energy source, a clean energy source, and it's, in my opinion, would be a real plus for our state and our communities. Thank you.
Fred Potter. But I also need to have them close enough for the court reporter. Maybe what we can do is turn them sideways. How would that be? Okay, Fred Potter. And Mr. Potter, if you could just stand sideways, that's probably fine. And if you could speak close enough to the microphone that we can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Fred Potter. I'm supervisor for the town of Troopsburg. We want the DEC to take the necessary actions to ensure that gas drilling is safe in our state, to protect our water supplies and our local infrastructure. Having said that, I also believe it is time to allow the drilling to begin in the state. The economic benefit to our rural upstate town that has no industry will be tremendously beneficial at a time when it's desperately needed. Thank you.
Sandra Frankel.
Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Frankel, supervisor of the town of Brighton, Monroe County, and I thank you for the opportunity to talk with you today about high-volume hydraulic fracturing. I'm here because this issue is not just about the potential environmental, health, and financial costs to communities or the perceived economic benefits to individuals, to our communities and our state, but I'm here because clean, safe drinking water is about life itself. The members of the town board of the town of Brighton are deeply concerned about the potential risks proposed through drilling for natural gas through this method, and we believe our concerns reflect those of a substantial majority of our residents. The current proposed draft environmental impact statement has many deficiencies which must be addressed. The DEIS does not prohibit the use of toxic or carcinogenic chemicals in the fracking process. It does not prohibit drilling in or around all aquifers in order to protect everyone's drinking water. It does not contain a health impact assessment. It does not have a comprehensive cumulative impact analysis, but instead only looks at impacts on well pad by well pad bases. It doesn't look at pipeline and compressor station impacts, nor does it protect drinking water infrastructure. It doesn't close the hazardous waste loophole, which allows hazardous fracking waste to be sent to our ill-equipped sewage treatment plants and municipal landfills. It doesn't prohibit spreading fracking waste on roads. It doesn't address the potential for seismic impacts, and it doesn't respect local zoning. In addition, if approved, impacts to local infrastructure must be addressed, and the cost of maintenance must be mitigated with full compensation from drilling operations and must not come from local property tax revenues. If complete and thorough reviews of potential impacts demonstrate that this process for natural gas recovery is safe and viable, which is questionable, then no permits should be issued without full dedicated permanent funding for DEC regulatory enforcement. I recommend that such funding be provided to the state as a mitigation fee from the gas industry so that New York State taxpayers and local property taxpayers do not shoulder that burden. We strongly support a one-year moratorium on the use of hydraulic fracturing in the state. The moratorium is important to ensure that hydraulic fracturing not be allowed unless it can be done in a manner that is safe for our environment and will not jeopardize the health of the citizens of New York State. If it is eventually permitted, regulations must ensure that all financial burdens on local infrastructure and municipalities be covered by the drilling companies, specifically including any and all cleanup or mitigation necessary as a result of the operations. As per the attached town board resolution adopted at our town board meeting on June 8, 2011, we respectfully urge that this not be permitted until you have completed thorough studies and can ensure safety for our water supply, the health of those people who live, work, and play in the great state of New York. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Frank. Okay, our next speaker is Bonnie Lee.
Okay, I'm Bonnie Lee, and I represent the town of Allen. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I would like to comment on the social and economic impact section of the SGEIS. I represent a town of less than 500 people. We rely on agriculture, hunting, fishing, and tourism for our livelihood. A lot of us struggle to make ends meet. Most of us signed gas leases many years ago. These leases will allow companies to use high-volume hydraulic fracturing if the moratorium is lifted. We will not be offered a sign-on bonus. Neither will we be offered a fair share in royalties. 4 years ago, a gas company in our area did seismic testing. Their trucks tore up our roads and fields. Many neighbors' water supplies were disturbed. Springs that had flowed for years slowed or dried up. The gas company promised to fix the damages. To date, my townsmen have received little or no compensation for these damages. Our town has mostly dirt roads, which can be severely impacted by increased truck traffic. We can barely afford to maintain our roads and submit a balanced budget. We certainly cannot raise taxes to spend more on infrastructure. Can we really expect the gas company to act responsibly now when they have not done so in the past? Money generated by the gas boom will not stay in my town and probably not in the county or state either, as there is no severance tax in New York. Only gas sold within the state would benefit. The higher tax on personal income would not help my community. Massive industrialization will radically change our way of life. Our lives depend on the quality of our land, air, and water. Industrialization would decrease our land values, creating less tax base to service our town. If our properties become valueless, what worth do we have to sell and move on to someplace else? How do we tell our children that we have ruined their future? Most of my townsmen have farmed and hunted this land for many generations. Founding families still live here. Currently, there is plenty of natural gas for America's needs, and there will be if we don't sell it overseas, again, at no profit to New York. Why not leave some for the next generations? Why not preserve this beautiful rural life and landscape hard-won by our ancestors for those who will come after us? In our little part of New York, it is all we have. Thank you.
I just want to say again, while I appreciate that you want to support the speakers, it's going to be very important that we keep the proceedings moving. So if you can hold back on your applause, it will allow us to get more speakers in. And our next speaker is Jane Russell.
Hello, I'm Jane Russell, Supervisor-elect for the Town of Pulteney in Steuben County. Thank you for allowing me to speak today and express opinions about the dangers to my town from gas drilling and hydrofracking. These will be personal comments with the viewpoint of my constituents. I'm a newly elected town supervisor in Pulteney in the Cuca Lake watershed. I've been elected to this position because our town residents are concerned about what could happen if hydrofracking will be allowed in New York. We know our county is targeted because we border the northern tier of Pennsylvania where fracking is occurring. We have seen county maps that show potential drilling sites in our town. These are our concerns. Our town has a winery that makes world-class wines. We have many grape growers on the west side of Cuca Lake. We are on the Cuca Lake winery route. Cuca Lake has been designated by the media as one of the top 10 tourist destinations in the world. We do not want this huge industry for our area to be destroyed. It would not be able to coexist with fracking. Thousands of people around Cuca Lake use it for drinking water. One gas industry mistake could destroy our water forever. Many are concerned that water would be taken from our lake for the fracking process. This is an irreplaceable resource. Our lake also sits atop several earth faults. As many scientists are concluding recently, hydrofracking has been known to cause earthquakes in many areas of the world. This does not seem to be a logical place to drill and frack. Our county and town road systems were not designed to handle massive truck traffic that accompanies the gas industry. In addition to that, resulting diesel fumes from trucks would destroy the delicate balance needed to grow grapes. Since our roads are lined with vineyards, this would be devastating to the grape and wine industry. Residents have come to Pulteney because it was a haven from the dirty, busy, loud, crowded, and unsafe areas of larger population. We value the quiet and tranquility of the small, beautiful spot of this earth. We do not want or need the gas industry to ruin our home. Fortunately for us, the devastation of northern Pennsylvania is close to home and easily observed. Let us learn from the greed and haste to frack. Please preserve our state so we can proudly say for generations to come, I love New York.
Thank you. We're going to call our next 10 speakers. Before our next speaker, we're going to call the next 10. Please come forward and sit in the rows up front, please.
Okay, the next 10 speakers are Linda Knowles, Kathleen Heller, Karen Ballard, Jason Ballard, Ellen Zever, Dan Fitzsimmons, John Schoen, Jeff Heller, and Neil Vital.
Okay, and our next speaker is Joseph Sampolsky.
Hello, my name is Joseph Sempolinski, and I'm the District Director for United States Congressman Tom Reed. Congressman Reed is in Washington, D.C. today, and she could not attend the hearing, although he would have liked to have been here. The House of Representatives is in session. Tom represents the 29th Congressional District, which is made up of several of the southern tier counties, as well as several of the counties surrounding the Finger Lakes. Tom's family has owned a cottage on Cuca Lake for several generations. So it's something that he takes great importance both on a personal and professional level. First, I want to compliment the DEC. I know there's going to be people that are up here that think this has moved too slowly or has moved too fast. The Congressman feels the DEC has taken the time necessary to look at and weigh the benefits and the costs of moving forward with this process. The DEC has a reputation of being a strong pro-environment organization, and the fact that we are even having this hearing speaks a lot. If there was truly no way that we could move forward safely, we wouldn't even be standing here, and the Congressman is confident the DEC would not have promulgated draft regulations and draft environmental impact statements. He also feels that it's right that this is being regulated at the state level. As opposed to the federal level, there's the ability for nuance for our more sensitive areas, and I hope that the DEC will take into consideration the concerns of those people that live in those sensitive areas. Also, the Congressman is concerned that to make sure that should drilling move forward, that the DEC is fully funded to enforce the regulations that will be put in place, the environmental impact statement that will be put in place. We can't have drilling moving forward with an underfunded DEC. He hopes there'll be funds dedicated directly to the enforcement. Also, he feels that those regulations that are put in place must be enforced vigorously. There must be strict penalties for those who are negligent. That all being said, for two very important reasons, the Congressman is confident that we can move forward with drilling in the state. The first overarching concern that he has is the national security of the United States of America. As a federal official, he has to look at the big picture, and we are too dependent on foreign oil. Second, he has to look at the economic implications. There are concerns, legitimate concerns about traffic, legitimate concerns about employment, legitimate concerns that come with any type of economic growth. But those concerns are not specific to hydraulic fracturing. So as long as the regulations are enforced vigorously, because of the concerns to national security and the concerns of economic growth for the people of his district, the Congressman feels that we should move forward, and he's confident in the DEC's ability to do so.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Linda Knowles.
I am Linda Knowles.
Can you speak into the microphone, please?
I live in the town of Thurston in the heart of Steuben County on 100 rural acres. I am pro-natural gas drilling. I speak not only for myself, but for neighbors and friends that are also for gas drilling. I know many of the names on the Steuben County delinquent tax rolls. They are in that situation because they are in dire need of some financial relief. That relief could come to not only those landowners, but to all of New York State if we could only release a workable SGEIS. We need to get that release soon and start issuing drilling permits. 3.5 years is too long. This has not been a rushed document. The DEC officials have consulted with professionals and with industry. They have taken public comments, then reworked the comments, and consulted again and taken public comments to the point that this current version of the SGEIS has been overworked and is almost not worthy to be proud of. Governor Cuomo, Mr. Martens, and DEC officials, please make this a doable SGEIS and issue it soon. You know in your hearts you can't deny that natural gas drilling and fracturing should be happening in New York State and will be a safe process given these regulations. You have studied all the ill effects, and the benefits still outweigh the risks, especially with the precautions you have taken. I have read much of this document and feel it is not for the common person to critique. You have tried too hard on perfecting it.
Quiet,
Listen to the
please.
industry that will be using it and the experts who have given you advice to make this workable, and let's get drilling. We should have that final SGEIS very soon after the December 12th comment period ends. If this SGEIS is not going to be released for issuing permits by December 31st, I suggest you implement, effective January 1st, a surcharge on any natural gas used in New York State that is not produced in New York State. That might make people think twice about how important this issue is to our economy. New York State has the resource, and it is our duty to make it work for us. 3.5 years is long enough. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Kathleen Heller.
My name is Kathleen Heller. I'm from Bradford, New York, and I'm with the Steuben
you keep your
County
voice-
Landowners Coalition. And this morning I'm addressing the grassland issue. The grassland focus area, while the DEC had the best intentions of protecting New York's grassland birds, it has hindered real protection that the DEC could provide for the state's bird population. Chapter 6, pages 6-66 to 6-74, and Chapter 7, pages 7-77 to 7-83 of the 2011 SGEIS state that two main reasons for the decline in the grassland bird population in New York State's grassland focus area are modern agricultural harvesting methods and encroachment of housing and supporting infrastructure. DEC is attempting to mitigate this problem of the declining bird population with regulations against an industry that has never contributed to the decline. It has never stated in the 2009 SGEIS that if drilling industry entered the state, that it would contribute to a decline in the bird population. The irony is that these new regulations in the 2011 report will have a detrimental effect on three sectors of New York State life. First, the drilling industry will avoid leasing and because of vague and misguided regulations. Second, landowners will lose leasing and royalty opportunities in grassland areas. Lastly, the bird population will miss out because of the enormous amount of state revenue that will not be generated due to signing bonuses and royalty payments. The state could someday provide a true wildlife sanctuary that would indefinitely protect all species with the increased state revenue. With the economy the way it is, this appears we are putting the importance of birds ahead of the needs of mankind. Thank you, and I'd like to thank the DEC for all the work they've done on this. It's been 3.5 years. Let's get it done.
Thank you. Karen Ballard.
Hi, my name is Karen Ballard, and I'm from Lindley, New York. First, I would like to thank the DEC for their efforts in getting the SGEIS done so that we can begin drilling in the Marcellus Shale in New York. Our state needs the drilling to happen, and to happen now. It will bring jobs and much-needed revenue to us. I live on the land that was my grandfather's farm. He came to America in the 1880s with his parents from Sweden. They worked in the coal mines in Morris Run. They came seeking a better life. Today, we have that opportunity in gas drilling. Jobs, tax revenues to get our state on the right track again. Decrease dependence on foreign oil. I want to be able to say to my grandchildren, come or stay in New York. It is once again the land of opportunity. We live a mile from the PA border. We enjoy riding in Pennsylvania and seeing the gas wells in progress. The American flag flowing in the breeze at each site is a
Quiet, please.
to us of our great country, and that gas drilling will bring our soldiers home and give us a national security and offer opportunities for America. It gives us a sense of pride in our country that we haven't had in years. To those who represent the gas companies, I would like to say, welcome to New York. We look forward to working with you to help our state and our country get back on its feet. Thank you for allowing me to speak, and 3 years is long enough. Let's get it done. Thank you.
I'm going to ask you again to please show each speaker the same respect that you would want if you